Tanya Carrion, and we also have Los Hermanos Colon. So we're gonna have a chill out session today. We're gonna relax, and before Tanya comes on first, just want to talk a little bit about the week or the weekend since we're in midweek. It's Wednesday, and happy Black History Month. And to all my African American friends, los Caribeños, and Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. Yeah, I said Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and Cubans because we are black also, and people will dispute me for that. But the proof is in the pudding. Um, and more so because of my family and my history. And I will explain a little bit to you about my background. My mother side of the family is black Puerto Ricans. My father's side of the family, they're white Puerto Ricans. And of course, there was some tension in that era, in that time, when my father wanted to marry my mother, and my father's family were against it because my mother was black, right? So, and then, so, you know, I've always looked up to my grandfather and his stories and his ancestors, his grandmothers, those that came from Africa to Puerto Rico and made their lives there. So I embrace my black history, my ancestors. So again, yes, a lot of people don't see it that way, and there is racism within my own country, my own island, just like there is in everywhere, right? So, but again, happy Black History Month to everybody. Y qué más? What else can I share? So, did you hear the news? La noticia es que la primavera viene temprano, says the rodent. Spring is coming early. Thank God, because this cold weather is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, let's see if the predictions are true, right? I'm looking forward to the spring. I was born in Puerto Rico. I'm hot-blooded. I love the warm weather. I love the heat. You know, I can do some cold weather, fall, perhaps, but I love the heat. What else can I talk about? Well, I had an adventure, and I'm guilty. I'm a late bloomer. What do I mean by that? I'm a late bloomer in many things in life. And I started recently taking driving lessons. Yes, taking driving lessons may not mean a lot to you, but it means everything to me. I've had my driver's license for 25 plus years, maybe. Did I need, do I need to drive in the city? No. I live in Manhattan, so I have the 1 train, the 2 train, the 3 train in front of me, and behind me I have the A train, the C train, the D train. No need to drive in Manhattan. Plus, parking is ridiculous, right? So I decided to start taking lessons, and a good friend of mine helped me along. After that, I took some classes in the Bronx. Then I started renting cars by myself. I just rented my second car this past week. And it was a little tough, I'm not gonna lie. Now, New York is crazy as is. But I want to find out from you guys, who do you think are the most aggressive drivers? I thought Manhattan drivers were aggressive drivers, but I've been to the Bronx. You guys, and I have nothing but love for the Bronx people. You guys are my friends. I love you guys, but you guys are most aggressive, I think. What is your opinion? Do you think Manhattan drivers are more aggressive than Bronx drivers, or Bronx drivers are more aggressive than Manhattan drivers? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, my goal is to eventually feel comfortable behind the wheel and get going. That's it. So, I have a lot of things planned out for me this year. I've got some music that I'm working on. As you know, this is my second time here at El Latino Ruido, so I've got this gig going on. And I'm also trying to focus in on a podcast. And and possibly a book. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I just have to sit back. I spoke to a friend of mine. Her name is Anna Anderson. She's an author. And we had a little conversation, and I asked her, what do you, what does it take for you to be inspired, to sit back and to actually write a book? And she said, basically, you just have to sit and just start writing. Just start writing. And so I explained to her, I don't know whether if I want to go the route of fictional, non-fictional, memoir, and I don't even know if I do write something, if people will buy it. You know, I'm known for my music. My stuff is out there on iTunes. I have a couple of CDs on the market. And she says, you know what, Javi? People will buy it because people know of you. People know of your music. They've always come out in support of you. And they are interested. They are interested to hear what you have to say, right? So those are the plans I have, you know. I'm not going to go too much into details, but things are moving along. And going back to Black history, what I want, one of the things that I would like to see on this show, and I'm going to make it happen, is I want to bring in a group of folks, Afro-Latino, to speak on the subject of Black in the Caribbean islands, Black here, Black Hispanics here in the States. Because one thing I do remember when I was having this conversation in one of my family members' home, we were talking about Black Puerto Ricans and white Puerto Ricans, and one of my aunts said, we are white Puerto Ricans here in New York. In Puerto Rico, we're considered Black Puerto Ricans. And I'm like, wow, that's deep. That's deep. So yeah, so I've got to look and research, and if there's anybody out there that's looking to come on the show that knows of an organization, please hit me up. Please hit me up. I would also like to give a shout out to my brother, Gabriel Ruiz, who is a graphic designer, and he does a lot of great work, and he's going to come on the show hopefully within the next couple of months and talk about his graffiti work. Also, we have a reggaetonero group that's coming on in February. We have Luis Ramirez, trumpet player, who's also coming up in February. March, we have Soraya Sergiu. She's going to come on and talk about the topics of health and HIV. We have actually the second Wednesday in March, we have my mother, Carmen Martinez, who will come on and talk about her book, which is based on El Espiritismo, spiritualism, and her being a medium, which is a very interesting topic because it's a practice that I grew up in. And so she went in and actually took about 2 years to write the book, which is on Amazon.com. So that's going to be an interesting topic. Also, the third Wednesday, I believe we have a friend, his name is John Lopez, and he will come on and talk about his business in in baking. He's trying to expand on his I got a call.
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello? I don't think he can hear me. Caller, can you hear me? No. No, sorry, caller. Try again, okay? Anyway, going back to my guest, John Lopez, he's going to come on and he's going to talk about his business. He's going to bring some samples of cupcakes and cakes. Looking forward to that. And and we're just going to have a great time with all these guests, and looking forward to it. As far as any performances that's coming up on my end, I'm working on something. Wait, I think that's the caller again. Hold on. Hello? Caller? Hello? No. Things happen live. No caller? All right. Well, we're about to go into commercial, and then when we come back, we're going to speak with Tanya Carrion, who's going to talk to us about the topic of domestic violence, which is a subject that's close to my heart for the reasons that I was exposed to that as a child in my home. I'm being told that there is a caller coming on.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your name?
Hey. No me conoce, no me reconoce la voz.
Espérate, Alex.
Hey,
Alex.
¿cómo está, varón?
Yo, Alex, you're hilarious. I'm excited because I'm getting a caller from a stranger who's going to ask the question. And this is my co-host that's calling me. Where are you, in Jamaica? You're in Jamaica?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Back
God.
in Jamaica.
Oh, wow. How's it going?
Oh, my God. Esto hermoso para acá. I think I want to stay over here. Can I do the show from over here?
No, you cannot do the show from over there. Tell me a little bit about Jamaica. How's it going over there? How are you having a great time? What have you done so far?
Yeah. I'm having such a great time, man.
Yeah?
It's over here so sunny. Nice. How's the weather over there?
You know what? The weather has been nice, actually. It's been cooperative. It's been in the 40s. It's been pretty warm. So we're enjoying it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, did you do any excursions out there?
that's amazing, man. Why not? I just called, to wish you good luck. I know you got this.
Thank you. 2 weeks.
And
You're on your
I can't
own
wait to
here.
be back, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Okay, saludos a todos.
I will. Gracias.
Bye.
Bye, ciao. All right. Alex is funny. He called me all the way from Jamaica. That's hilarious. Bueno, mi gente, don't go anywhere. After commercial break, we're going to bring on Tanya Carrion and discuss the topic of domestic violence. See you in a few.
No importa si es elegante, sé que le gustan los diamantes. Yo sé que me quiere solo, no le importa que yo soy de la calle. Esta noche en mi cama, tú serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, lo sabía que iba a ser mía. Esta noche en mi cama, tú serás mía, solita mía. Nena, llámame cuando tú quieres que te llene de placer. Yo soy el hombre que te va a complacer en el momento que tú quieres, bebé. En la cama se prende, cuando cerca está de mi cuerpo, la gana nunca ella abandona. Por eso pido que ella siempre me la coma. El sentimiento tal vez la traiciona. Cuando está conmigo no desea otra persona. Lo que molesta que ella quiere este tipo, porque soy el único que la excito. Esta noche en mi cama, tú serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, tú lo sabías que iba a ser mía. Sexo razón y placer te voy a dar, mujer. No me importa dónde sea, yo te lo haré de mi manera. Yo solo quiero complacerte, mami. Suéltate, no seas tímida. Piérdete en la intimidad. El sentimiento tal vez la traiciona. Cuando está conmigo no desea otra persona. Lo que molesta que ella quiere este tipo porque soy el único que la excito. Ella cuelga el teléfono cuando está conmigo. Cuando estás conmigo. A ella no le importa nada cuando entrega su cuerpo, su cuerpo, su cuerpo. Esta noche en mi cama serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, tú lo sabías, iba a ser mía. Esta noche en mi cama serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, tú lo sabías, iba a ser mía. Iba a ser mía. Tónico, play that. Jody, de la voz sensual, Tronic Boy Music, rap. Esta noche en mi cama.
Welcome back to El Latino Ruido. I am your host, Javier Luis, and our guest tonight is Tanya Carrion. Welcome, Tanya. Hi. So she is here, and we're going to talk about domestic violence. She works for a domestic violence organization, and she also has the Carry On Foundation, correct? Movement. So Tanya, what is domestic violence?
Domestic violence is different forms of domestic violence.
Okay.
Domestic violence is not just physical. That's a lot mostly what people know about. The physical part of it, get
Right.
that guy, get hit, abused in that form. But there's a big aspect of domestic violence: verbal abuse, mental abuse, psychological, physical, emotional, financial. And in my marriage, I was a mix of everything.
Okay.
And sometimes it's not just one thing; it's a mix
It's a
of
multiple of things.
stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long?
And it's not just between a man and a woman, husband, wife. It could be anyone in a household or in a
Right.
family. You see
Right.
it with grandchildren and the grandparents.
Right.
And stuff. Yeah.
Right. So you just explain, because I was going to ask who experiences domestic violence. So not just the wives. Or girlfriends,
Domestic
but
violence
it's just a,
affects everybody
Affects
in the
everybody.
household, in the community,
In the community,
in the
right.
family.
okay. Does domestic violence happen with men? In other words, are men victims of domestic violence?
Yes. There are statistics that, 1 in 4 women are affected with domestic violence, severe cases, and 1 out of 9 men.
Right.
So
1 out of 9
it's
men.
not just man to woman, it's woman to man. And, with life of today, with same-sex couples and
Right.
marriages.
Right. That
so
was my
it's
other question.
Same.
How is that? What's the percentage in the LGBT community with male
That
couples?
I'm not
lesbian?
sure with the numbers in the LGBTQ community, but I hold an annual event, and this year one of my survivors that I honored, she was a survivor of a same-sex relationship
Right.
that became very, very, very bad
Right.
domestic violence case.
Okay. What kind of help is out there for people who suffer from domestic
There's the
violence?
hotline. Oh my God, I apologize. I don't have that on me, and I should know right by memory. But there's the hotline for emergency cases, but like with what I do is an epidemic, right? And in most cases, like even with us in our culture, we've seen it growing up in our households with our families, and we're taught that lo que pasa en la casa se queda en la casa,
Sí.
right? So we're always silenced with everything that happens in your home.
Right.
And the world of today is just changing. There
Right.
is no more silence. It's
Right.
time to speak out
Right,
and
right.
speak up.
Right.
And that's what I do.
Right.
I'm tired of being silenced, and you're so full of shame of your life. You come outside, you wear all these different masks.
Right.
You come out, you're in the public eye, in the community, in people's homes with a smile, and
Right.
everything is grand and
Right.
perfect and stuff. And then you're going back home, and it's a whole another life,
Right.
and it's not fair to anybody.
Right.
And it affects the whole household.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it's like we have to speak up and change that.
Right. What causes, what do you think is the cause behind domestic violence? Why do people get to that point where they want to control their spouse, their partner, with the different forms of domestic violence? Why do you think they have that kind of insecurity, I want to call it?
And in a lot of relationships, it's a learned behavior. Like
Right.
I said, like in our culture, it's a big epidemic. And I would say not just the Latino community, but minority communities, because I mean, even I am around a lot of Bangladesh communities too,
Okay.
and their household, it's whatever the man says, and the woman just has to follow. So
Right.
some places it's just cultural
It's culture, right?
and is accepted. And the world of today, we don't have to accept things that
Right.
are violating our morals, our
Mm-hmm.
rights. I'm a woman. I want to be respected and I want to be loved, and there's no need for you to mistreat me or
Exactly.
harm me.
Exactly. Right. I like the claps. So, what are the effects of domestic violence? What does somebody go through when they're in one, or once they're able to get out?
Through my experience, being affected with it, like I said, you're filled with so much emotions. You feel ashamed. You feel like you failed.
Right.
Like in my marriage. And it all depends on the support that you have around you. I was ashamed because in my family we have, they all have careers, they're educated, they're doctors and officers and lawyers, and I was a housewife.
Right.
That was an honor and a privilege for me, but I didn't realize that was part of his control of not having me out there and working. So I had that financial dependency on him,
Right.
right? But I did have college education, and I always had to be doing something. So I used to try to work, but then he would show up at my workplace and in court scenes and stuff like that. So, and it's their insecurity in his part. In my relationship, I can say that besides that, he learned that his father was abusive to his mother, and then his insecurities, he was doing things wrong in our marriage.
Right.
I was always faithful. He wasn't.
Right.
And because he knew he was doing wrong, it made him suspicious of anything with me, and
That's the
preventing
way it
me from
always
being
worked, right?
around from anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, prevented me from like pretty much being with my family and stuff and having my own friends. My friends were his friends.
Right. Right.
And, and his family, everybody knew what was going on. But in that side, when his mother was alive, and at that time, she used to be like, just don't get him upset. Just do what,
Wow.
prevent things and just let a
Wow.
man be a man.
Well, now, so who's saying that, his mother
That's
said-
his mother. And she's a survivor. She was almost killed by the hands of his
Wow.
father. She left Puerto Rico when he was 5 years old because he almost killed her,
Right. Right.
their father. But when we started, we were young in love, I was 17 years old, and it was all beautiful. And I guess just throughout the years and being around other relationships and things that he saw, he wanted to be like everybody else, other things that he saw, and he brought it home, and
Right.
it wasn't that fairy tale anymore.
Right. Right. Wow.
And then once you get out, I didn't get out. That's one thing I will say. I loved him,
Right.
and I didn't get out of it. He left.
left.
He left.
Okay.
And I didn't know what a blessing that was going to be,
Right.
because I was like I said, I loved him, and I
Right.
was like, couldn't see my life without him.
Right.
And for the sake of my children, that was something I always had in me, that I was raised with my mom.
Right.
My dad was alive and he was around, but wasn't in the household. So it was like when I got married and had my kids, I wanted them to have a mother and a father.
Right.
And so just holding that foundation,
Right.
I stood and I dealt with it. But I didn't realize how much hurt and damage that caused.
Right.
Because
So
I
that-
thought I was hiding it from the kids and stuff. And then so when he left, and I got depressed, because then you get other symptoms and stuff, right? I
Right.
went into deep depression, a very, very dark time in my life. My kids in turn were taking care of me, and they helped me to start getting out of it. And they were like, we don't want him here anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, why? I always put him on a pedestal. I never painted him as this bad person.
Right,
And I'm
right.
like, that's your father. You gotta love him. You know, he's good to you. And they were like, no, we know everything that he did. Don't lie no more. Don't cover him up anymore.
Right.
And that was an eye opener for me.
Right. Wow.
And then I started speaking out a little bit of stuff, people from school, because I'm very involved in my children's education. I'm that PTA mom. I'm always
Right.
involved in my community. I'm always helping. I'm always giving. And then there was a mom that she was like, I feel like I can talk to you. And she started to talk to me and tell me things. And I was like, oh, no, girl, do not, don't accept that. Don't, put your foot down. You're worthy. That's the main thing. Sometimes they just bring us down. They shoot us down.
Right,
And we
right.
feel like we're not worth it.
Well, now you're the voice for a lot of women.
And that helped give me my voice.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I felt that what an impact that I made in that one person, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
what I need to do.
Right, and you're doing great work.
Thank you.
Now, you're lucky that you got out of it, whatever form it was. There are people that don't get out of
Right,
it. Now,
right.
what do you say, because I'm sure there's people watching us right now who are in relationship of domestic violence. What would you say to that person that's watching us right now if they want to get out and they don't know how to? What do you recommend to them? I know it's a tough
It
situation.
is tough because depending where you're at and the services, and unfortunately what I have to be honest about is that being a victim of domestic violence, and sometimes when you search for help, you end up still being victimized even more.
How's that?
Like, because if they say, like me, that when I was working and stuff, you end up losing your job. And if you're in place of your home and there's rules in your if you city housing and stuff like that, and you
Right.
have the cops being called at your residence and stuff, that costs you your apartment. So sometimes you're the victim and you still end up losing everything.
Right.
So it's really hard. But in any form that you can just get out of it, you just get out of it. If it's you can pack up a couple of bags if you have children and stay at your friend's house. And so you can seek a shelter, seek the appropriate help that you need to just move on and get your life back.
Right.
Do it. Do it, because at the end of the day, it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it for your life, because we see it every day now. Now you see it more on the news. Lives are being lost.
Right.
They're being stalked, they're being killed, and it's such a sad thing, because if you look at it, in this world, there's so many men and so many women that if something doesn't work with one person, just move on to
Move
the next
on,
person.
yeah.
Just move on with life. But
Right.
people just hold on and want that control, and it's like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you, and
Yeah.
and it's so sad.
Yeah, that's the machismo mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. What does the law say today about domestic violence? How does the law help people of domestic violence?
I would say more depends on your community. So where I'm at in my community, we have in the precincts special units for domestic violence, and they're trained for that.
Right.
But even still, people are people, they're humans. And even if they have a job,
Right.
they're the way that they see or they feel things. Like there was a situation where I intervened a domestic dispute with a close friend of mine, and she had already reported it, called, and they didn't arrive. So I had to reach out to a contact to get direct contact into the precinct to
Right.
find out, because we had already
Okay.
called now the third time,
Okay.
and still no officers arrived. After 30 minutes, finally, it was like 4 vehicles arrived.
Okay.
And the one that would have been in charge of them didn't even take it like a serious matter. You know, started addressing my friend. Well, if he just asked for this, why didn't you just give it to him and maybe he would have avoided all this? And I just stood back and I'm like, you know, and then she would go and speak to him and they were laughing and he was saying so much stuff. And I was just there, you know, keeping my composure, just being support there for her. And then she'll come back again and it's like, and the third time I had to tell her and I said, I'm sorry, you know, I know you're an officer, but this is what I do. I'd advocate for domestic violence. And you're
Right.
victimizing the victim. You need to stop that.
Right.
You don't
Wow.
know all the details, and you're just siding with him.
Right.
Like, this is not your protocol to be like this. You might feel one way.
Right.
You might feel like you need to, whatever he's saying.
Right.
But you don't know the whole story.
Wow.
And
That's-
don't judge her.
Right.
You know, and then I kind of added a little bit more to it to, like, let her know, like, I know what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And this is her place. You belong defending her and protecting her. And that's when she calmed down and the officers were like, and then when the lieutenant then came to confirm everything, I let him know.
Right.
Like, you
Wow.
know.
Wow. I mean, like you, I was also a victim. Well, not directly however, I don't know how would you put it, but I grew up in a household of domestic
So you
violence.
were affected by it.
I was
Mhm.
affected by
And
it.
you are still a survivor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my children are survivors.
Right, right. And like you said, there's many forms. I never saw my father hit my mother, but I did witness the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, the control. And I grew up with that. And I always remember when my dad would come home, he would put in the key in the door, and when I heard that lock, I would cover my head with the sheet or cover my ears. That affected me.
Mhm.
That affected me, and it affected my brother. And I remember when my mom finally had the courage to say enough. I remember I was 14 years old, and they had an argument. My father left to go hang out with his friends. My mom was fed up. She started packing his things. I ran and started helping her pack. But we put his stuff back and we packed our stuff. And as soon as we left and walked out the door, I had this sense of relief that just came over me. So it really does have an incredible effect on children because parents don't think children take notice. We do take notice.
Yes, they see and they hear everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I
Everything.
mean-
I thought I really sheltered them and protected them from the ugly side of.
Right.
And
No. I mean, it's transparent, what goes on in the household. So, Tanya, tell me quickly, how do we help somebody that we suspect is in a domestic violence situation, a family, a friend, anybody, and where can they find your information?
I have my Carry On Movement page on Facebook.
Mhm.
That one is public. And anybody can request it and other. I have Twitter, but I'm not really on that.
Mhm.
I'm not into that. And I have Instagram, but that's really more my personal. I haven't set up the Carry On Movement page on that. But I continue being the voice of people.
Okay.
And I know already a lot of the signs, and I can see it. But it's like how they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them
Exactly.
drink it.
Exactly.
Right. So
Yeah.
you just give them the support
Right.
and just be there until they're ready.
Until they're
Sometimes
ready.
they're not, and it's still hard. But you just have to be that support. It really is a touchy thing. But is how everybody now is like, you see something, just be quiet, keep moving, keep walking. No, do something.
Yeah.
Do something. If you
Right.
see a man disrespecting a woman in the street, those don't walk on by.
Right.
And
Right.
I would be there and I'll shout, like, no, don't you tolerate that.
Right.
And call the police
Right.
and let them know there's something
Right.
going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of
Because-
people have that fear of it getting involved because things could happen. You know what I'm saying? But I want to thank you thank you very much
Thank you.
for being
Thank you
here
for inviting me here.
and
It's-
talking about this very sensitive topic that even though there's been a lot of light shown on this, it's still very sensitive.
It is.
It's
It
still
is.
very
I
sensitive.
do an event every year, and there was my second annual. I just did my 5th annual, and it was wonderful. Every year, of course, it's wonderful. It takes a lot of work, right, to do
Yeah.
events, and each one just means so much to me. I put it out there now to nominate people to be speakers. I have survivors speak their stories, and I am supported by elected officials. That's a wonderful thing, to be supported by your community as
Right.
well when you're doing something that you're so passionate about. Take advantage of your elected officials in your neighborhood. Find out who they are and go to their offices for help. They can help you as well with domestic violence. They can help you to find shelter, to find home, apartment to move,
Right.
and direct you where you need to go. And when I put it out there and I make the event page of my event coming up and stuff, and you see people, they're going to attend and stuff, those who know what I do, they're there, they're supportive. I have
Right.
people around me. I have such a circle of blessed friends that I call them my brothers and my sisters, because it's just phenomenal. Anything you do, boom, they're right there.
Right.
But I have some people that just tell me like, oh, thank you for what you do and stuff like that, but I'll support you in any way, but I can't go because it's hard,
Right.
and it's like, but that's why I do it.
Right.
I want to break that already, to make, I don't want to make it a household word, but I don't want it to be like people are still so like,
Yeah.
nah, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to check out what it's about. I
Right.
don't want to hear anything. No, hear about it.
Hear about it,
Hear
right.
about it, because that's healing for us too.
Right.
The more we speak about it, the more we're out there, we say and we're doing, it's healing.
Right.
This is why I do it too, because it's healing for me.
Well, thank you, Tanya, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And come right back. We're going to be with Los Hermanos Colón.
No es baby, el Latino trae baby. Con éxito. Quiero que hoy sonar el control y te dejes llevar. La fiesta está comenzando, mujeres siguen entrando, botellas siguen llegando. Solo el comentario, viviendo la vida como millonario. Manos arriba, sienta arriba. los fellas. Oh yeah. Pásame la botella, que hoy se debe sin parar.
No importa si es elegante, sé que le gustan los diamantes. Yo sé que me quiere solo, no le importa que yo soy de la calle. Esta noche en mi cama, tú serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, no sabía que iba a ser mía. Esta noche en mi cama, tú serás mía, solita mía. Nena, llámame cuando tú quieres que te llene de placer. Yo soy el hombre que te va a complacer en el momento que tú quieres beber. En la cama se prende, cuando cerca está de mi cuerpo, la gana nunca ella abandona. Por eso pido que ella siempre me la coma. El sentimiento tal vez la traiciona. Cuando está conmigo no desea otra persona. Lo que molesta es que ella quiere este tipo porque soy el único que la excito. Esta noche en mi cama, serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, no sabía que iba a ser mía. Sexo, pasión y placer, te voy a dar mujer, no me importa donde sea. Yo te la haré de mi manera, yo solo quiero complacerte, mami. Suéltate, no seas tímida, piérdete en la intimidad. El sentimiento tal vez la traiciona. Cuando está conmigo no desea otra persona. Lo que molesta es que ella quiere este tipo porque soy el único que la excito. Ella cuelga el teléfono cuando está conmigo. A ella no le importa nada cuando entrega su cuerpo. Su cuerpo, su cuerpo. Esta noche en mi cama, serás mía, solita mía. Aunque me vengas con drama, no sabía que iba a ser mía.
Welcome back to El Latino Ruido. This is Javier Luis, and my guests here are Los Hermanos Colón. Could you guys introduce yourselves?
Un placer, Germán Colón.
Freddy Colón. Freddy Colón. Fuerte aplauso para ellos.
Colón.
There you go, there you go. Bueno, I was excited porque a mí me dijeron que solamente iba a entrevistar a Tanya Carrion y después él me llamó ayer y me dijo, mira, te tengo a los hermanos Colón. And I'm like, you're kidding me. I remember seeing them in Club Iguana a few years ago. I'm like, okay, so I'm ready. I want to talk about, tiene una extensa trayectoria musical. You guys go for more than 40 years, 40 plus years. Llévame a través a un viaje de cuando empezaron con Herman Colón and his sextet.
That goes me. Okay.
Okay.
Well, it goes back, man. Before we started Los Hermanos Colón, we had a sextet. That sextet was my brother Freddie and myself.
Right.
And we, started back in the 70s with that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we started in the 70s in Decatur Avenue.
Right.
It comes back from way back Puerto Rico, but the sextet, the idea of doing the salsa, we got into in the 70s was in Decatur Avenue in the Bronx.
Right.
I mean, we used to have festivals close up the street.
Yeah.
So we couldn't afford a band, so we decided to get a sextet. And the
Nice.
sextet that we got was Germán Colón y su sexteto.
Right.
I used to play congas, my brother Faye played bongos. And
Okay.
we did coro like we do now, but we don't play percussion
Right.
at this time.
Right.
But that's how the sextet started.
Okay.
And then it keeps on going along, then came La Constitución de Germán Colón, became
Right.
a big orchestra.
Wow.
Because in the 80s, that's what started coming in. The
Right,
big
of course,
orchestra
yeah.
sound. So we changed our style.
Mhm.
We went into a bigger band with trumpets and
Right.
saxophone, trombone.
Yeah, the big band sound.
Big band sound.
Right.
And then after that, you know, it just kept on moving on. So I don't want to go give you everything that
No,
happened.
no,
but
no, that's
one
fine.
part that
That's
happened
great.
with the Sestet.
That's great. ¿Cuántas producciones ustedes tienen en la marqueta? How many productions do you guys currently have in the market?
We
Oh, we
already-
got about 12, something like that?
12
Yeah.
CDs. Wow, that's
These are-
amazing.
Yeah, 12.
Wow.
We wish we could do one every year, but everybody know how the system goes.
Oh God, I know.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's also-
The last two, we did compilation, and then we released an album with Music Records, que es la Sabor
Show us that one.
This is our last
You guys can
production.
see that? That's amazing. That's the most recent.
One, yeah. This is
Okay.
produced by Conjunto Imagen. I mean, not Conjunto Imagen, but
Ernie Acevedo.
the director
Okay.
of that band. He produced the album, and it was recorded by Music Records.
Music Records. Very nice, very nice. Cada de ustedes, I'm sure, have your favorites, your favorite production, your favorite songs. ¿Qué significa esa canción para ustedes? What's your favorite production out of the ones that you have out? What's yours and what's yours, and what does it mean for you?
We have in the new CD
Mhm.
a song that we took for my father.
For your father,
He's a
okay.
band, Como Verán.
Okay.
That song, we did it, and for me is that we did one of my father's songs.
Right.
That we haven't, for all the things that we've done, we never did one of his songs.
Wow.
And we did this one.
Mhm.
And it's a great song, good. That's one of the things that really.
Is it a song that he wrote? Or-
No, he had a band.
Oh, he had a band,
He
okay.
had a band.
Okay.
Casino 77, Mikey Hernandez.
Right.
You know, in the 60s, the 50s,
Right.
70s, he had his own band. too.
Right. That's
Yeah.
really special, though.
Right.
That's
And
really
what
amazing.
made his recording special is that he had the people that he had recording with him.
Mhm. Right.
Cachao. He
Cachao.
had on piano. He had Richie Ray.
Wow, you
He
guys
had
have
all
some
these
big
guys.
bands.
Yeah, and these recordings were done in I think 1977.
1977.
At that time.
Wow,
And it
that's
was heavy, bien pesado. And when we heard the song, and I told my brother Herman, we should do Pop Song, you know, one of his numbers for the
Okay.
album. And Freddie agreed, you know, let's do that. And we sat down, we started listening to songs, and I
Right.
think we all came to that conclusion that that was a song that we wanted to do. Como Verán. And
Now,
we
is this
dedicated
on? This is on this production.
On this production.
Okay.
Mhm.
On the last production.
The last production. Okay. Who are your influences? Obviously, your dad's one of your influences. Who are your other influences in the music industry?
For me, the Beatles were my first
Nice.
influence musically. They were
Nice.
the ones that made me become a musician.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Even though my father was there too as a musician,
Sí.
he teach me a whole lot. But being young like that, Latin music to me was like the older people music.
Right.
So the Beatles were the
Right.
youth.
I
You
agree
understand
with
it?
you. Yeah.
So they influenced me for many years. I was in rock bands and everything. They were doing South Latin music. I was
Yeah.
doing rock.
Nice.
And eventually, the bug caught up.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
I started realizing that not only was Latin music a great music, but it was like so multi-rhythmic that you gotta get you gotta appreciate it, and I got
Right.
to appreciate it.
Right. 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 How about for you?
For me, it's like remember I told you we had the sextet. Joe Cuba was a very
Joe
influential
Cuba.
because he was a conguero. He used to sing his coro. So
I spoke to Joe Cuba on the phone once,
Yeah,
so I got
yeah.
lucky. But
Yeah,
go
he's a
ahead.
great man. But I never met him. Well, I seen him live, but we never talked. I wish
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
because he was one of my
did.
idols.
We
We did
performed
meet.
the same
We
show.
did.
We did a show with
We
him
did.
and
We did.
somewhere in the city. We did
We did in the
we
Channel
alternated.
47, Channel
We
4.
alternated with him in the show.
Channel 4.
Okay, my brothers
We
know
did a
better
show.
than me, so we did.
It's okay. It's okay.
But anyhow, look, Joe Cuba, Roberto Rowena. because
Okay.
I owe my bands, when I started changing the sounds with the bands that I liked.
Right.
The horns with the same sound that Roberto Rowena had. And Tito Nieves, now he's my favorite, my favorite
yeah.
singer.
Bobby Valentin.
Bobby
I know
Valentin,
it's
all
a
those
big
people.
band, yeah.
But yeah, Willie Colon, with Esto La Voz,
Yeah.
the Christmas songs, all that.
Oh my God,
all
you're
these
taking me
songs come
back.
To my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. Ibarati.
Well, my father won,
Right.
and my mother. My
Your
mother
mother?
used to sing Aguinaldos.
Okay.
She used to, Christmas time.
Right, right, right.
That was one of la inspiración que me,
Sí.
in this music.
Right.
What we do. Well, my mother, because she was a great singer. She
Wow.
sang good.
That's awesome.
And from there on, you know, we grew up with Willie Colon. We grew up, you know, con Larry Hollow,
Cheche Collet,
the Gran Combo. You
Right.
know, all these bands were influenced.
Right.
You know, Mo Rivera I used to love.
Right.
You know, these Tito Rodriguez. You
Sí.
know, we grew up
Rivera,
with-
all
You know,
these-
we lived in Puerto Rico during the 60s, and we were influenced a lot by Gran Combo, all those
Sí.
bands that used to come on in Canal 12,
Mhm.
the show de las 12.
Sí.
So we used to watch all that.
Right.
So as kids, we would emulate them. You know, we
Right.
would get up in front and dance like a Gran Combo, and they were our idols at that
Right.
time. And then when we came back over here, my brothers went into, you know, doing the sectet.
Right.
I got into rock bands, folk music, and all that kind of stuff. And all of that, you know, all that great influence from Puerto Rico. Because Puerto Rico, let me tell you, when we were growing up,
Right.
the music, they had so much music over there.
Right.
Latin bands, all kinds.
How was it performing in Puerto Rico in that era? What was the energy like? 'Cause I couldn't even imagine.
It was awesome, man. I used to be with a rock band, and we used to go to different little towns.
Right.
And they also used to bring Latin bands.
Mhm.
So we used to alternate with we alternated with Richie Ray,
Right.
which a great band.
Right.
And it was El Dia de San Juan.
Yeah, that's on.
So what they do in El Dia de San Juan is that they grab the musicians and they throw them in the water, right?
What do you mean throw them in the
Es como
water?
un bautismo that they do.
Ah, ¿de veras?
Yeah, yeah, they do that.
Usually,
So-
usually they in la playa,
La playa.
things like that.
Okay,
That's when
okay.
usually they do all this
Right.
stuff.
So-
Wow.
Well, good luck. It's for
Okay,
good luck.
okay,
Good
okay.
luck, but my band was the band that they grabbed and they threw in the water.
For a minute, I thought it was a broma or something like
No,
they
it
would
was
take
for
you and
real.
just throw you
It
in
was for real, man.
Okay.
It was for real. It was, but amazing. You know,
Yeah.
'cause you were you know, we were alternating with all these big orchestras that were coming
Right.
in, and at that time, Richie Ray had those English songs.
Right.
You know, at the Mr. Trumpet Man,
Right.
which you used to hear all over in La Billoneras, like in all the stores,
Sí,
in all
sí,
the
sí, sí.
stores. They used to have these big billoneras, and they used to play that music so
En Lo
loud.
Colmado.
¿Verdad? En Lo Colmado. My uncle, who had a store in Guayama, we're from Natural Guayama,
Sí.
and he would play. People would put a nickel, and they would play the music.
Right.
Mr. Trumpet Man.
Mr. Trumpet Man,
Yeah.
Mr. Trumpet
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Man, won't you play? And we were like, you know, we're like 10 years old, 11 years old, listening to all this great music.
That's
you know?
awesome.
And at that time, and if you listen to those recordings from then and
Right.
listen to them now, they're just as good.
Right, of course,
They were
yeah.
so well
I agree.
recorded.
But the thing
I
is,
agree.
we was ahead because we didn't hear it in Puerto Rico. We heard
We
it
heard
here
it
in
over
New York.
Here.
Right.
You know, because my father they used to play Casino 96.
Right.
They used to rehearsal with the bands there too.
Sí.
Everybody used to rehearsal.
Right.
And sometimes we used to go too.
Yeah,
check it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
You know, a lot of the musicians there used to go to my house too, to have dinner, to eat, to have coffee. You know, Paquito Guzmán, these are guys that I
and
can
rehearse.
remember
Sí, sí,
come
sí,
to the
sí.
And
house,
rehearsed.
the
We
rehearsal.
rehearsed it. Yeah,
You know,
I remember
all these little things.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Nico
great.
Membiela,
Sí.
all these old Cuban guys used to come
Right.
to the house. Frankie Figueroa, who's
Sí.
very close to us.
That's awesome.
He would come down to the house. My uncle, Papo Colon, who was a percussionist with Tito Puente for many
Sí.
years, also would come to the house.
Tito Puente.
Tito Puente, or, you know, all these guys.
Right,
And
right,
it
right.
was amazing,
Right,
you know,
right.
listening to all these guys. And like I said, I wasn't appreciating them as much, you know, but I do now.
Sobre olvidar. Sabré olvidar. That's a video that you guys
Yeah.
did 7
okay.
years ago.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at this video.
Is that over? 7 years? Damn.
Sufro mucho al saber que no te has muerto y al mirar aquel retrato. No te has muerto. En tu rostro yo comprendo la maldad de tu querer, falsedad en tu mirar. No te has muerto. Amor solo para perder, así es vida. Querer, por eso te digo. Sabe olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabe olvidar. Ay, 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 ay. Sabe olvidar, mujer.
all of your productions are basically salsa music.
yeah.
What is your opinion of today's music industry in relations to salsa music? Do you think there's been some kind of decline in the salsa market? Do you think that New York City is still the mecca of salsa, or has it been transferred or shifted over somewhere else? What is your opinion when it comes to salsa market in today's music?
In New York City.
In New York City, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's start
My
with,
opinion is in New York City that what we lose radio playing our music.
right.
Which I'm talking about, I can mention radio names, and would it be a problem?
You could go
Yeah, you
ahead.
know, I mean, the big mega radios and stuff
Right.
like that are not playing our music.
Right,
You understand? And this is what gets you going.
right,
You know, in the 70s, you had Fania.
right,
All the Fania music was playing on the radio.
right,
People got to hear all that music.
Everybody
and
became a star.
everybody became a star.
right.
Worldwide.
And then-
Worldwide,
and then-
right.
yeah, in the 80s, then you have Rafa Mercado, which he started putting bands on the radio. That's how Totito Nieves and everybody got big time.
Mm-hmm.
In the 90s, here comes Los Hermanos Colón with a small company. We get a song on the radio for a few years, an English song, and we're working all over the world, man. We do
That's
a lot of gigs.
amazing.
So this is what's lacking right now
Right.
in New York City.
Right.
It's just having a mega radio play the local music. They
Right.
play salsa, don't get me wrong.
Right. But they're playing like 2 or 3 artists over and over. They're not giving chances
You
to
know,
everybody
I mean,
else.
I will go my song will be playing on the radio, and I'm not kidding. I go to a club, I walk in, the club owners listening to the radio, I say, yo soy uno de los hermanos Colón. I come here for a gig. Oh, sí, oí la canción de sí, dale un trabajo. They give me a gig.
Right,
Now I can't even do that.
Right.
You know, but now it's all, I mean, if it's not YouTube, it's not through anything like that, you know,
Right.
you can't get a job. And
right,
that's what's that's what I think is lacking.
Right.
And we don't have a mega recording company that we used to have in the 70s,
Right.
in the 60s, in the 80s,
Right.
and the 90s.
We don't
Right.
have those investors no more.
We
There's
don't.
no investors.
This
There's
is-
people
the-
that invested, you
Right.
So
know?
then, you know,
We
you
don't have
got
that
us
people.
that we pull out a CD, it costs us like a lot of money to get a CD done.
right.
You get a nice production. Now, where are you going to play it?
Where are you going to play it? Right,
And this is where we get stuck.
Right.
I mean, this production here was done by Ernie Acevedo,
Right.
Conjunto Imagen. And this is not because de los hermanos Colón.
Right.
I'm not going to sell it if it's not right, but this is a good CD.
right,
But I can tell you, you know, the only way this CD, if it was played on the mega radios, and we would be talking a different story.
right,
You understand?
right.
So this is what's hurting here in New York.
Right, and I sometimes I wonder why is it that the radios are not playing salsa music? I mean, or the locals, you know, is it still payola? Is it initial payola? Is it,
Well-
what is it? I
Well,
mean,
you know, I always say this, that I keep away from that, but I respect this part of the business that I think is, in the 2000 is happening is, we don't have a mega recording company
Right.
pushing artists like Hermanos Colón,
Right.
Hermanos Moreno, Conjunto Imagen.
Sí.
You know, all these bands, we don't have that. A company that can go to the radio station and says, look, I got 10 bands, and I want to play these bands.
Right.
If you don't play them, man, you know, we're going to boycott. We're not going to do the gigs. We're not
Right.
going to do anything. You got to put these bands in.
Right.
We don't have that. Now, if the way we're doing it now, here comes Herman Colón with a CD, and I'm going to go to major radio. I say, let man, you know, I got this. Hermanos, oh, te tocaron sí en los 70. Coño, chévere. Put that shit and throw it down the radio,
Right.
down the side.
Right.
So, you know, just to taking your time on that, that's what I think is missing here. in New
Right.
York.
Oh yeah, radio is a huge part of the success of an artist. Yeah. Now, the other issue that I want to talk to you guys about is performing in the New York City clubs. I've performed for many years with my band. I have a 12-piece, and it's kind of pulling teeth,
Okay, you know.
considering that the clubs, they make a load of money off the bar, the food. Sometimes they'll charge at the door, sometimes they won't. But they have the money to pay
Right.
original artists.
Right.
But from what I understand is that they prefer to pay very little to cover bands. What's your opinion on this?
Well, any of those want to say that, or you want me to take it from you?
Yeah, you know, when they hired the cover bands, they usually come small bands.
Right,
So it affects bands like ours, which is like a 12-piece orchestra,
right,
you know.
right.
9 with 3 singers.
Mhm.
So that's a big band. That's a sound that we want to always project.
Right,
You know, we
exactly.
don't want that sound to go.
Exactly.
You know, and if we, you know, bands like ours, or there are other bands here in New York that have big bands, Frankie Morales,
Sí.
they have their large bands. So we're trying to continue in that tradition, you know. But the clubs are basically forcing a lot of groups to go there with less musicians.
Yeah.
So they're taking away their sound, you know.
Right.
And you know, the prostitute like that, we'd rather not.
Right.
You know, we've been called to many clubs,
Right.
but what they're offering doesn't
They're
even
not offering
pay
anything.
half of the band.
No.
And
You
you
know,
know,
and
Club owners are promoters. If they don't do their job,
yeah,
Right.
again,
Right. Great
years
point.
ago, if they had a band playing,
Right.
and they had radio, they would take your record and play it.
Right.
Because you're going to be playing there Saturday. They were promoters.
Right.
And then a lot of these club owners, they became promoters.
Right.
You know, we're back bringing people in.
Right.
We don't have that either.
Right.
Let
And
me
we
tell
do
you-
have it, but it's happening in Colombia and Queens.
Right.
It's happening Dominican
Right.
clubs. They doing it.
They're doing
You
it
know?
right.
Yeah.
You
Right.
go to Alto Manhattan, you're going to see all these
Right.
places, even after hours.
Very,
They're
very
doing
good
it.
point.
And these are
But
the
it's
club
not
owners.
happening for our music.
Not
Listen,
happening.
I just want to say this, and it's very important. You can go to any club here. Los Hermanos Colón, I put my band. Or maybe your band when you do. You go to a club, you be there all night. Wait till one song of yours come out. Never. Now you got a gig the next week in that club. I go to the owner, I said, man, I'm here next week. Your DJ didn't play not even one of my songs.
Right.
Now how the people that's there gonna come next week, gonna say, coño, perdona, they're gonna say, wow, you know, I'm gonna listen to these people
Yeah.
next week.
Right.
If you don't put out music, they don't know.
Right.
You know, but this is the big difference. Even the DJs will not play the local band.
Right.
You can be there, they say hello to you, they say how you doing and
Right.
everything like that. Pero a la hora de la verdad, they don't even have your music. Say,
They're not
can you
playing
play
it.
one of my music?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't bring it in today.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be a solution. That we have to come together and
The
bring this
DJs,
back to life
the
because
clubs, the DJs
Yeah.
and the bands have to coordinate in order to promote those events when the
Right.
band is going to be played, that their music
Right.
saturated
Exactly.
the club. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
So this way the people could
Yeah.
know, oh, vienen los
Sí,
hermanos
sí, sí.
Colón,
Sí.
o vienen,
That's
sorry.
right, that's right.
I tell you, we go to Peru
Yeah.
to perform.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And no people know our history.
Right.
From top to bottom.
Right.
We can go tomorrow. We'll get on the plane, we'll go over there and forget it. As soon as we get off the plane, people are calling my name and asking me all kind of questions. They know the history of
know
Los
your
Hermanos Colón.
yeah, the
Here it doesn't happen.
right. Everything if you, my thing is you want to make it, go overseas.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
overseas.
Go overseas.
Yeah.
That's where it's at right now.
If people want to know more information about you, what is your social media platform? Where can they find your
Well,
information?
Marcus can give you that.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Los
Okay.
Hermanos Colón.
Okay.
You go to YouTube también, loshermanoscolon.com, or YouTube, you know,
Right.
just go, you can put in Los Hermanos Colón,
Mhm.
and all our media information will be there. And to reach us, Herman Colón, who's the manager of the band,
Which is, the number is 917-416-0084. Nosotros tocamos divorcio. Hacemos todo. You call us, we'll be there, man. So,
Aguinaldo cantamos.
Aguinaldo, we do everything, man. We do bar mitzvahs, we do everything. So yeah, that's the number, 917-416-0084. Los Hermanos Colón.
Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. Los Hermanos Colón, you guys were great. Thank you for sharing your
Thank you,
favorite, your
thank you.
information, your music.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. Keep doing what you're doing, my brothers, okay?
Thank you, man. And I
Good luck to
just
you,
want to
man.
tell you,
Thank
good
you.
luck to you. Keep
Thank
up
you.
the good work.
Thank you.
You got a great show.
Thank
I
you.
want to see you perform. We got to get
You
together.
will see me
Los Hermanos
perform.
Colón, we got to get together, man.
alternate or something.
Okay, we
That'd
got
be
to do
awesome.
something. But anyhow, thank you so much to support this young man and Los Hermanos Colón in our music all the time.
That's right. Support
This is-
LDM Radio.
LDM Radio, this is Latino Ruido. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Mucho ruido.
Si tú quieres el perdón, pero deja de pecar. Y como una magdalena, confiésate, aprende a amar. Solo así te salvarás, pues yo, un chacal. Seguiré por mi camino, cantando siempre. Y así yo sabré olvidar. Sabré olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabré olvidar. Ay, 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 ay. Sabré olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabré olvidar. Sabré olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabré olvidar. No te puedo perdonar. Sabré olvidar, mujer. Y yo sabré olvidar. Tú fuiste mala conmigo. Sabré olvidar, ya te olvidé, ya te olvidé. Sabré olvidar. Confiésate, arrepiéntete. Por eso te digo. Ay, ay, ay. Aunque quisiera yo amarte, no puedo más. Pero sigue, sigue, sigue por tu camino. No puedo más. En tu rostro yo comprendo. No puedo más. La maldad de tu querer. No puedo más. Falsedad en tu mirar. No puedo más. Te digo adiós, que te vaya bien, mujer. No puedo más. Vaya, vaya. Que te vaya bonito. Los hermanos